So here's something kind of cool, Alpine and the RPVs. We've been clamoring. I say we. I think there's a lot of folks, a lot of turnover that happened inside the ranch over the last 5-10 years, right? I think you saw that, right? And by the way, we only send out this video just for you peeps too. So this is an unlisted video. So this is just for us 150. If you're grabbing the postcard, you get over to here. A lot of folks making that silent migration from the city up into the foothills and really enjoying that sort of respite, still being fully entrenched in the San Diegos, but getting a little bit of that lift up, right? Where you got the wide open skies, you can see the stars, you're connected more with nature, got a little bit of land, you spread out a little bit, arguably great place to raise a family, I'll say from personal experience, and it's been said. And so we're seeing that actually in some of the numbers right now. So pan back a little bit, right? So right now we're in this weird moment, gang, where the numbers from a sales volume perspective countywide are the lowest they've been since 2009. So what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of strategery going on, right? A lot of uncertainty, of course, in rates and in economy and everything, global stuff, right? Political. But then also all that kind of playing into people feeling sort of stuck, right? Like who wants to give up their 3% mortgage if they can help it? Prices aren't really a respite, which is good if you're trying to get on the way up. But then where do you go? It's like out of the pot and into the flame. And then buyers are like, dude, do I really want to drop, 1 point whatever, and then also saddle up with a high 6, maybe 7, whatever the heck it's at today, percent rate? I get it. We've been singing the same song for a while. But Alpine in particular is actually kind of bucking the trend a little bit. Pending and closed sales for us are actually up year over year, which means the best homes are still moving with that same purpose. Which is pretty cool. Now, we don't have a lot inside the gates, but median price actually up as well. Whereas a lot of the stuff down in the city is going down. We're up, it's not a ton, month over month, we're up like 0.5%, but year to date up 5%.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. And that's kind of cool. Now, here's where it gets interesting though. Juxtaposed from days on market up 44.4%.
Okay.
So what does that mean? It's taken a little bit longer to do the damn thing, and timing is going to be so key for a launch, and that's when the ranch really shines, is in the summer months.
Yeah.
Right? Like we really do have an off season inside the RPVs. Not really a kind of a fair fight, whereas you could say, well, there's no snow in San Diego, so we're kind of always in the buying and selling season. Not so much inside the gates. And then inventory right behind it, it's up 31.3%. So we have a 3.6 month supply right now. We've definitely shifted from a seller's market to a balanced one.
Yeah, balanced is right, because the feel of it moving in that direction makes it feel like, oh my God, everything's going wrong. But we're actually normalizing as opposed to getting weird, right? And I think that the thing that I'm seeing in that upper high end market is how much money people have to put down. So you talked about being trapped.
Yeah.
There's a double-double here because people haven't really changed their financing structure on their homes. And so since then, they've got a bigger chunk of equity, right? So let's say that you are moving from the city out to the hills and your goal is to buy a bigger home. You've got a lot more equity to play with right now.
Yeah.
So the larger down payments are helpful. And some of the rate strategies, temporary buy downs where you get a rate a whole percentage point lower than market for a year. These are things that are helping people make that transition right now. And so the selling is actually, I think, being bolstered by the idea that buyers have a little bit more bang in it.
For so long, if not maybe we could say forever, real estate agents, and let's just even playfully say average ones. I'm sure that there's a part of me that even falls in line with that from time to time, right? Have allowed themselves to look really good because the market's been really good.
Right.
When the market's really good, it's like Warren Buffett says, when the tide is high, everybody looks good out there swimming, right? But then when it drops, you can actually see who's wearing shorts, right? So right now, that preparation is everything. If you're in the ranch, what's true, okay? Prices, pretty damn good. We've had a nice little run up, so we're looking pretty good price-wise. We've been holding that strong. Costs, though, to own inside the ranch are through the roof, right? You know this. Nod your head right now if you're with me. Pound on the table if you're with me. Throw a comment down in if you're with me. Insurance, Hello, Fair Plan.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
hello, your normal provider plus the Fair Plan.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not on that, you're lucky. Okay, because we all are. Water through the roof, and don't think if you got a well that means your escape velocity, because those things break all the time, right? And then you got electricity. You got all these things just end up adding and volumizing to, man, it costs a lot every month to live inside the gates. Right? So from a buyer perspective, what's the one thing you can do as a seller? Because those are a lot of like things you can't control, right? Those are like non-negotiables for the most part. So what's the thing that you can? Preparation. Because the one thing right now that buyers are unwilling to also take up, if they're taking all that on as well, is a big $100,000 to $250,000 remodel on top of it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not signing you up for that, but what I am saying is that seems to be the separator and the differentiator from the ones that are still doing great and looking really good and popping on and getting a big open house and getting a couple offers after the first couple weekends versus everybody else that's sitting, racking up days on market and chasing the market with price adjustments, right? So yeah, you always got to price it right first ahead of the market. Don't be behind, but also it's all about that preparation so you can package your home. And that really is what it needs to be. It's not just a front door, man. You know, it's like all the things, landscape, all the things that go into it. So you can say to your buyer, hey, I've solved your problems. Now all you got to do is stroke me a big check to get me out of here.
That actually reminds me that buy down I was talking about, that 1 year buy down, you as a seller can provide that to the buyer. Imagine offering them a lower rate than market. Now, of course, it costs some money,
right?
But how much is that costing you relative to the knockdown on the sales price?
That's right.
Really interesting option.
Yeah, which all is about the preparation. So, gang, that's what we're doing here. And hopefully you appreciate these. If you do, we'll see you back here next month again. But check us out. We've actually got a specific workshop we do just for the RPV gang. It's the rpvworkshop.com, where we actually go on a one-to-one basis and play this out just for you, so we can take an individualized approach if that's helpful for you. So have a great summer. Hopefully see you at the lake, and we'll catch you back here next month.